chosen one. The moment you pressed play, something shifted in the spirit. You are not here by curiosity, coincidence, or chance. Heaven has summoned you. This moment was written into your timeline long before you ever knew wealth, elevation, or destiny were even possible. Your spirit felt the pull before your mind understood it, because this is a divine appointment, a sacred meeting orchestrated by God Himself. Anointed One, you are standing at the threshold of a supernatural breakthrough, the kind that happens suddenly, silently, and undeniably. A divine wealth transfer is drawing near. A heavenly elevation is preparing to lift you into rooms your name has never entered, yet your spirit has already visited. What was once delayed is now aligning. What was hidden is now being revealed. What was withheld is now being released. For as it is written in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3, the vision waits for an appointed time, and though it seems delayed, it will not lie. It will surely come. Chosen one, breathe deeply. Something holy is being set in motion around you. This is not just an introduction, this is an activation. Heaven is preparing you for a blessing so great, even your silence will testify. Let your spirit be awake. Your moment has begun. Chosen one. There are moments in life when something shifts inside you before anything around you changes, a quiet knowing that heaven has placed its hand upon your path. You may not see the evidence yet, but your spirit already feels the tremor of divine movement. I've lived through seasons where nothing seemed to grow, where every door felt sealed shut, where effort looked wasted and prayers felt unanswered. Yet even then, something sacred was happening beneath the surface, a preparation I didn't understand until much later. And now, chosen one, you stand in that same holy turning point, a moment when the soil that once rejected you is beginning to awaken. What felt barren before is starting to respond, not because you worked harder, but because heaven breathed on your obedience. I've witnessed this in my own life, the sudden return of opportunities I thought had passed me by, the unexpected favor from places that once overlooked me, the quiet reversal of battles I thought I lost. These weren't accidents, they were signs that God was moving silently, steadily, just as He often does with those He calls. Anointed one. This is your silent season, the sacred stretch of time when God begins His greatest works without announcing them. Blessings that are loud rarely last, but the blessings birthed in silence become foundations no storm can shake. I remember learning this the hard way, thinking that breakthrough would come with noise, applause, or some dramatic shift. But heaven rarely works that way. True blessings rise like the sunrise, quiet, steady, unstoppable. And the same way the light climbs the horizon without a single word, you too are being called to rise without explanation. This moment is not only about financial change or open doors. It is about receiving a mantle, a spiritual weight that separates the called from the chosen. Wealth, when it comes from God, is never random. It is tied to purpose woven into destiny. And with that purpose comes responsibility, not to impress others, not to seek validation, but to carry the blessing with maturity. I've seen how people reacted when my life started to shift. Some were happy for me, but others grew uncomfortable because my growth exposed their stagnation. And you will see this too, chosen one. Not everyone around you can handle your rise. Some loved you more when you struggled because your pain made them feel safer. But as your light grows, it will reveal shadows in others, and that revelation isn't meant to shame them. It's meant to free you. God is pulling you out of cycles, environments, and relationships that cannot hold what He is placing inside you. That is why He whispers, "Move quietly." Silence is not hiding, it is strategy. It is the fence around the seed that has just begun to sprout. When I first began to taste increase, I wanted to share it, celebrate it, prove that the years of struggle were worth it. But every time I announced too early, the blessing felt attacked, misunderstood, or drained by wrong connections. I learned that some things must be protected in the hush of wisdom until they are strong enough to stand. Chosen. One heaven is training you in private so you can carry in public what others would drop. The habits you're building now, the discipline forming in secret, the humility being shaped in you, these are not small things. They are the foundation for everything God is preparing to release. So as you step toward this divine assignment, take a moment to acknowledge what is happening within you. This is not just increase, this is transformation. Let your heart respond. You are being invited into a deeper way of walking, a higher way of thinking, a quieter way of rising. And as you move into this new rhythm, understand something essential. Abundance is not the finish line. It is the battlefield where heaven watches your heart more closely than your hands. When your blessing arrives, will your spirit remain anchored? Will your gratitude remain pure? Will you whisper thank you, or will you feel the temptation to shout, "Look at me"? Pride doesn't begin with wealth. It begins with forgetfulness. I've walked through both lack and abundance, and I can tell you the real test isn't what you gain, it's what you remember. Those who remain rooted, those who do not forget who opened the door, they carry their blessing with grace. The chosen walk differently. They move with a quiet authority that does not need to compete or boast because they know who sent them. I've met people who had everything yet lacked peace, and I've met those with little who radiated strength. The difference was never the money, it was the heart. Wealth will not change you, it will reveal you. And that is why this moment is so holy, chosen one. God is preparing you not just to receive increase, but to sustain it, to manage it, to protect it. The early stages of your elevation are fragile. They must be handled with reverence. This is why heaven teaches you through stillness, through quiet acts of generosity, through moments when no one sees your giving but God. Because the Father who sees in secret rewards, in ways no human applause ever could. Your rise will not be fueled by noise, but by alignment. And as you move through this season, every step you take in silence is strengthening your foundation for the abundance ahead. Chosen one. As this sacred journey unfolds, you will notice something shifting, not only around you, but within you, a sharpening of your discernment, a deepening of your awareness, a quiet strength rising in places where fear once lived. I've walked through seasons where blessings began to appear, but confusion tried to rise with them, where new doors opened, yet old voices whispered doubts, and I learned that not every opportunity is divine. Some doors glow, yet they lead nowhere. Some people clap, yet their hearts are not aligned with yours. And in moments like these, heaven teaches the chosen to move with wisdom rather than excitement. Anointed one. This season requires a different walk, a quieter confidence, the kind that is not shaken by opinions or swayed by the desire to be seen. I remember a time when I began to experience increase, more open doors, more favor, more opportunities than I'd ever seen, and I felt the urge to grab everything, to say yes to everyone, afraid that if I didn't, the moment would slip away. But what I didn't know then is what I'm revealing to you now. Not every open door is meant to be walked through. Some doors are distractions dressed as blessings. Some assignments are traps masked as opportunities. And when God begins to elevate you, the enemy won't attack you with lack. He will attack you with noise. That noise can look like flattery invitations, new relationships, sudden attention, or the pressure to prove that you deserve what God is doing. But chosen one, you do not need to prove anything. Let your fruit speak. Let your consistency testify. Let your obedience answer questions your mouth never needs to address. As wealth begins to align with your life, heaven is not looking for performance. Heaven is looking for posture. And posture is revealed in silence. I've seen this in myself and in others who began to rise the moment the blessing arrives, the battlefield shifts. No longer are you fighting to survive. Now you are fighting to stay grounded, humble, alert, and aligned. Success brings a subtle danger, the temptation to forget the God who opened the door. This forgetfulness rarely roars. It whispers, you did this. It whispers, you don't need God as much anymore. It whispers comfort until comfort becomes complacency. And that is why God trains the chosen in silence before the blessing appears, so when the weight comes, your spirit does not collapse beneath it. Anointed one. Divine prosperity is not just financial, it's spiritual structure, emotional discipline, and mental clarity. I remember having moments where I felt God's blessing increasing around me, but my own habits were not prepared to hold what He was giving. It wasn't a lack of opportunity, it was a lack of order. Heaven blesses what is prepared, not what is reckless. And so in this season, God is not only elevating you, He is refining you. He is removing the hurry from your spirit, the fear from your decisions, and the need for validation from your heart. Because true wealth is carried by those who do not need to announce it. As I grew, I learned the power of moving quietly, paying off debts without announcing it, helping others without mentioning it, giving generously without expecting anything in return. And those sacred acts strengthened my spirit more than any applause ever could. Chosen one. This kind of quiet discipline is what builds unshakable legacy. When you choose silence, you protect what is still forming. When you choose stillness, you hear divine strategy. When you choose humility, you disarm every spiritual attack sent to derail you. And in that quiet, God begins to reveal what is truly yours. Some relationships were only meant for your struggle, not your success. Some hands were meant to help you survive, not to hold your blessing. Some people loved you small and will not know how to love you big. That does not make them evil. It simply means your new season does not match their old mindset. And God in His mercy separates before He elevates. Do not grieve the distance forming between you and certain people. Some connections are being pruned so your future can grow without distortion. I've lost people I once prayed to keep, but God showed me that elevation reveals hearts in ways struggle never could. When you rise, chosen one, motives rise with you. And this is why silence is your shield. Move quietly so heaven can expose what you cannot see. Walk softly so your discernment can grow stronger than your emotions. Rise humbly so your heart can carry what your hands are about to receive. This is not the season to broadcast. It is the season to build. The foundation forming beneath you is preparing for a blessing that will not be temporary but generational. And the quieter you become, the clearer heaven will speak. Chosen one. As you continue walking into this divine shift, you will begin to feel heaven guiding you, not just in your actions, but in your identity. There is a version of you that struggle shaped a version that lacked, taught a version that disappointment molded, but that version cannot cross into where God is taking you now. I've learned that when God begins to elevate you, He first elevates your self-perception, not your ego, not your pride, but your understanding of who you are in Him. Because if you enter a wealthy place with a wounded identity, the blessing turns into a burden. And so heaven begins the work within before releasing what belongs to you externally. Anointed One. There were years when I prayed for increase while still seeing myself unworthy of it. I wanted bigger opportunities, but carried a mindset that whispered, "You're not ready, you're not enough, you'll lose it like last time." It wasn't the enemy blocking me, it was the echo of old seasons speaking louder than the voice of God. And I feel this deeply for you. God is silencing the echoes. He is breaking the last chains of insecurity, fear, and self-doubt. Because the version of you stepping into this blessing must be rooted in truth, not trauma. You are stepping into a season where heaven wants you to see yourself as chosen, not lucky, entrusted, not overlooked, prepared, not fragile. And when you embrace this, the atmosphere around your life begins to shift. This inner transformation becomes your protection. Because rising without identity leads to collapse, but rising with clarity leads to authority. Chosen One. This is why silence is so essential. Not only does it protect what you are building, but it shields your spirit from voices that would distort your identity while it is still being refined. When I began my rise, I didn't realize how many people had opinions about a journey they had never walked. Some doubted me. Some questioned me. Some were secretly threatened by the version of me God was calling forward. And if I had listened to them, I would have shrunk back into the very version God was trying to deliver me from. But in the quiet, God affirmed what others couldn't see. In stillness, He showed me the strength He was placing inside me. Chosen One, you must guard your becoming. You are not just being blessed, you are being rebuilt. And part of that rebuilding is learning the difference between noise and guidance. Noise says hurry. Guidance says prepare. Noise says prove them wrong. Guidance says honor God. Noise says show them your blessing. Guidance says, protect what's sacred. And in this sacred season, heaven is tuning your ears to divine instruction. I've experienced moments where God's voice came not as a booming revelation, but as a quiet conviction, a sense that I needed to slow down, listen more, speak less, pray deeper, and steward differently. These subtle nudges became the keys to breakthroughs I never saw coming. You will begin to feel these same nudges. They may come as a sudden desire to reorganize your finances, or to distance yourself from certain environments, or to change habits that once felt harmless. These aren't random impulses, they are spiritual preparations. The blessing you've prayed for requires a lifestyle aligned with heaven's order. Anointed One. I remember when God began preparing me in ways I didn't understand. He taught me discipline before He trusted me with abundance. He strengthened my character before He multiplied my resources. And He removed my craving for applause before elevating my influence. Because applause can intoxicate the unprepared, but silence sobers the chosen. And in your quiet obedience, God is crafting a strength that cannot be shaken. As you walk through this alignment, you will begin to notice that your desires themselves are changing. You are no longer impressed by superficial success. You're drawn to purpose. You no longer crave validation. You crave clarity. You no longer chase opportunities. Opportunities begin to recognize you. This is the mark of someone heaven has begun to elevate. Blessings will come, but they will come in seed form first. And those seeds must be planted in the soil of your discipline, watered by your surrender, and protected by your silence. I have witnessed firsthand how early increase can be fragile. One wrong voice, one wrong partnership, one premature announcement can cause spiritual turbulence that delays what God intends to accelerate. But when you stay hidden in God, you stay protected. When you stay surrendered, you stay aligned. When you stay quiet, you stay guided. Chosen one. Your life is not expanding by accident. This is divine timing at work. Heaven releases increase only when your character can carry it, and you are being prepared to carry much more than finances. You are being entrusted with influence, with generational impact, with a mantle that will shift the direction of your life and the lives connected to you. And with this mantle comes weight, a holy responsibility. But do not fear it. God does not place weight on weak shoulders. If He is calling you higher, it is because He has strengthened you in secret. If He is entrusting you with more, it is because He has refined you through battles you thought you barely survived. You are stronger than you realize, more aligned than you know, and more prepared than you feel. And the heaven-backed increase approaching you will not overwhelm you, it will reveal you. This is the season where your identity catches up to your destiny. This is the season where your discipline becomes your protection. This is the season where silence becomes your strategy and wisdom becomes your wealth. And chosen one, as you continue forward, you will see that every step you take in obedience becomes a seed for the abundance ahead. You are being positioned, strengthened, and awakened for what comes next. Chosen one. As heaven continues to shape the vessel you are becoming, there will come a point where you begin to sense a holy separation taking place. Not a separation born from conflict or pride, but a divine distancing meant to protect what is growing inside you. Every chosen one experiences this, though few recognize it for what it truly is. I've walked through seasons where people I once leaned on began to fade, where circles I once belonged to no longer fit, where conversations that once energized me suddenly felt empty. At first it felt like loss, like rejection, like the ground was shifting from beneath me. But later I realized it was God rearranging my surroundings to match my calling. Anointed. One elevation requires environment. You cannot rise while anchored to what drains you. The shift happening around you is not accidental, it is strategic. Heaven separates before it elevates. And many times the separation is silent. I learned this truth slowly. There were people who were perfect for my past, but dangerous for my future. Not because they were bad people, but because their mindset couldn't hold the magnitude of where God was taking me. When God calls you into greater stewardship, He also calls you into greater alignment. Your circle tightens. Your focus sharpens. Your path becomes clearer. And while others may not understand the changes in your behavior, your silence, your boundaries, your deeper devotion, you must trust what heaven is doing. You are not isolating yourself. You are incubating destiny, chosen one. This incubation season is holy. It is the hidden place where God pours wisdom into you, where He refines the parts of your character that will carry the weight of future wealth, where He strengthens your discernment so you can tell the difference between an ally and an assignment. In this season, you might feel misunderstood, even misjudged, because people who are used to your availability will not understand your absence. But absence is sometimes obedience. When God begins to increase your influence, your management must become precise. Your time becomes sacred. Your space becomes intentional. Your energy becomes guarded. I've walked through this personally times when I sensed God pulling me away from crowded places so He could speak to me in quiet ones. Times when opportunities that looked appealing had to be rejected because they weren't aligned with what God was building within me. Times when I felt the internal tug to withdraw from noise so I could hear instruction. Every chosen one must learn that silence is not passive, it is powerful. It is in the quiet moments that heaven reveals strategy. And chosen one strategy is becoming your greatest currency. Wealth without wisdom collapses. Influence without instruction becomes dangerous. But strategy, God-breathed strategy, opens doors that human effort could never unlock. This is why God is slowing your spirit while accelerating your future. He's teaching you to move deliberately, not desperately, to respond, not react, to discern, not assume. And as you mature spiritually, you will notice that your appetite is changing. You are losing interest in conversations that don't carry substance, relationships that don't carry purpose, and habits that don't carry fruit. This is not you becoming distant. This is you becoming disciplined. Heaven is preparing you for responsibility that requires clarity. I remember when God first entrusted me with something significant. I didn't realize at the time how much discipline increase demanded. It wasn't just about managing finances, it was about managing me, my impulses, my reactions, my emotions. Increase magnifies whatever is inside you. And so God worked on my internal world before multiplying my external one. He taught me to pause before I spoke, to pray before I moved, to listen before I decided. And those lessons learned quietly became the pillars of everything He built through me later. Anointed one. Those same pillars are forming in you now. You may feel distant from your old life, but that is because your new life is calling. You may feel the tension between where you've been and where you're going, but tension is the signal that transformation is underway. And soon, that transformation will not only affect you, it will affect everything connected to you. God is not just preparing you to receive wealth, He is preparing you to steward legacy. Legacy requires maturity. Legacy requires obedience. Legacy requires the courage to walk differently, even when others do not understand your steps. And chosen one, you are being shaped into someone who moves with intentionality, who speaks with wisdom, who gives with purpose, who leads with humility. This version of you, this refined, disciplined, spiritually anchored version, is the one who can carry abundance without arrogance, who can hold influence without idolatry, who can walk in purpose without losing identity. Heaven is investing deeply in you because heaven plans to release deeply through you. Trust the refining. Trust the separation. Trust the silence. For everything God removes, He replaces with something greater. Everything He restricts, He does to protect. Everything He reorganizes, He does to prepare. And you, chosen one, are being prepared for more than increase. You are being prepared for impact, chosen one. As you continue walking through this sacred refinement, you will begin to notice another layer of heaven's instruction unfolding, the reshaping of your inner rhythm. This is the part of the journey few talk about, yet it is one of the most essential. When God begins to elevate a person, He does not simply give them more. He teaches them how to move differently, think differently, respond differently. Elevation is not just an increase in what you hold, it is an upgrade in how you operate, and this internal upgrade often happens quietly beneath the surface, long before the external breakthrough shows up. I've lived through seasons where God changed my pace without changing my circumstances. Times when He slowed me down internally, even though life around me kept pushing me to speed up. At first, it felt frustrating, like being caught between old expectations and new instructions. But later, I realized that heaven was retraining my instincts. Because the instincts that helped you survive in struggle cannot guide you into abundance. In struggle, you move fast out of fear. In abundance, you must move wisely out of purpose. Chosen one. This is why God is teaching you the power of intentional stillness. Stillness is not inactivity. It is alignment. When your spirit becomes anchored, your decisions become accurate. When your mind becomes quiet, your discernment becomes sharp. I remember the first time I experienced this shift. It wasn't marked by miracles or dramatic signs. It was marked by clarity. A clarity that cut through confusion, a clarity that exposed distractions, a clarity that made it easy to say no to things I once felt obligated to do. And this clarity, chosen one, is coming upon you. You will begin to see that certain doors you once prayed for are no longer necessary. Certain relationships you once held on to no longer fit your path. Certain desires that once pulled your attention no longer carry weight. This isn't loss, it's liberation. God is freeing your soul from attachments that cannot follow you into the next dimension of your calling. Anointed one, as your spirit becomes more aligned, your perspective on wealth will begin to transform as well. Heaven is not simply preparing you to receive money. Heaven is preparing you to redefine its purpose in your life. In the early stages of my journey, I saw wealth the way the world sees it, as proof, as power, as validation. But God shifted my understanding completely. He showed me that in the hands of the chosen, wealth is not a trophy, it is a tool. It is not a symbol, it is a strategy. It is not meant to inflate your image, it is meant to build God's blueprint through you. And once I understood that, every part of my life changed. Giving no longer felt like loss, it became worship. Saving no longer felt like fear, it became stewardship. Investing no longer felt like risk, it became obedience. And the more my perspective aligned with heaven's perspective, the more heaven trusted me with increase. Chosen one, the same transformation is happening in you. You are being prepared to handle wealth in a way that honors God, protects your purpose, and impacts generations. And one of the first signs of this preparation is the shift in your spending, your priorities, your discipline. When God begins to elevate you, He will often highlight areas of waste, patterns of impulse or habits that compromise your peace. Not to shame you, but to strengthen you. Because financial breakthrough without financial wisdom leads to financial bondage. I've watched people receive increase they weren't prepared to manage, and the increase became a burden instead of a blessing. Not because the blessing was wrong, but because the vessel was unprepared. And heaven loves you too much to let that be your story. This is why silence is so emphasized in your season right now. Silence protects your preparation. Silence guards your transformation. Silence gives you room to build systems, habits, boundaries, and discipline before the blessing arrives. The world chases exposure, but heaven builds in obscurity. There were seasons of my life where God hid me on purpose. Not because I wasn't called, but because I wasn't ready. He needed to strengthen what was weak, heal what was wounded, and cultivate what was dormant. And when the time was right, increase found me, opportunities found me, favor found me, not because I was loud, but because I was aligned. Chosen one, heaven is aligning you now. Every delay you feel is intentional. Every quiet moment is instructional. Every shift in your habits is prophetic. And though the world may not see what is happening inside you, heaven does. The investment God is making in your character is proof that greater is on the way. This is not resistance, it is refinement. This is not punishment, it is preparation. And soon, the very things you were once chasing will begin to chase you. But for now, embrace the silence. Embrace the discipline, embrace the internal shift, for these are the signs that heaven is preparing you for a blessing that will not just elevate your life, it will redefine it. Chosen one. As this divine process deepens, you will begin to understand one of the greatest mysteries of supernatural elevation. The blessing God is preparing for you must be protected with the same intensity as it is pursued. Many pray for abundance, but few prepare for what abundance demands. And fewer still learn the sacred discipline of guarding what heaven gives before it fully manifests. I learned this lesson not in moments of lack, but in the quiet, delicate moments when increase first began to unfold in my life. It arrived softly, like the early signs of spring, subtle shifts, small opportunities, quiet breakthroughs. At first, I wanted to announce everything, to share every blessing, to celebrate openly. But every time I shared too soon, something in the atmosphere felt disturbed. The blessing felt exposed, the progress felt shaken, and I could sense that not everyone hearing the news was rooting for me. That is when God taught me the wisdom of secrecy, not out of fear, but out of spiritual strategy. Anointed one. Not every eye that watches you watches with purity. Not every heart that smiles at you smiles with sincerity. And not every person connected to your past is meant to witness your next. God is not calling you to hide out of insecurity. He is calling you to protect what is holy. When a seed first breaks through the soil, it is delicate, fragile, easily crushed by careless hands. In the same way, the early stages of your elevation must be shielded from voices, opinions, and energies that could sabotage what heaven is constructing. This is why silence is becoming your armor. Silence is where discernment grows. Silence is where clarity sharpens. Silence is where God reveals the difference between who is assigned to your destiny and who is merely attached to your history. I remember moments when God revealed someone's heart to me, not through confrontation, but through quiet observation, how they responded to my small blessings, how their tone shifted when I spoke of good news, how their interest increased only when they sensed advantage. Heaven exposes motives in silence. And chosen one, this exposure is a gift. It is better to discover a person's true posture during your ascent than to discover it after you've placed them in a privileged place near your blessing. God is removing counterfeits long before they can contaminate your promise. But this removal sometimes feels like loneliness. You may feel misunderstood as you withdraw, as you become more private, as you begin guarding your dreams, your ideas, your finances, your plans. You may even question whether you are being too cautious. But listen closely to the rhythm of your spirit. This is not isolation, it is insulation. Heaven is building a hedge around your destiny, and you are learning to cooperate with it. Anointed one, as this protection increases, so will your spiritual sensitivity. You will begin to recognize when a conversation is draining your purpose. You will sense when someone's presence disrupts your peace. You will feel a heaviness when you attempt to share sacred things with unprepared people. This sensitivity is not emotional, it is spiritual. It is the Holy Spirit teaching you how to guard the mantle you carry. At times you will feel prompted to step back from social environments, to disengage from unhealthy patterns, to decline invitations that once excited you. I've lived this transition, and though it can feel unfamiliar, it becomes freeing. You learn that peace is more valuable than popularity. You understand that privacy is more profitable than premature exposure. You realize that purpose cannot grow in every soil. And as you embrace this shift, something powerful happens. Your creativity expands, your thinking sharpens, your vision becomes clearer. Silence becomes the womb where destiny forms. Ideas you once struggled to articulate begin flowing effortlessly. Solutions you once prayed for begin appearing with ease. And doors you once tried to force open begin opening by themselves, because now you are aligned, protected, and inwardly strengthened. Chosen. 1. This phase of your journey is less about what God is giving you and more about who God is making you. Wealth, influence, elevation. These are not just blessings, they are spiritual responsibilities, and God is shaping you into someone who can carry these responsibilities with integrity, humility, and wisdom. There will come a time when God releases you to speak, to build publicly, to expand visibly. But that time is not reached through noise, it is reached through preparation. And right now, heaven is preparing you through quiet refinement. The world may not see the changes happening in you, but heaven does. And soon, what is growing privately will manifest publicly in ways that cannot be denied. Until then, guard your spirit, guard your vision, guard your progress, and above all, guard your silence. Chosen one. As this journey continues to unfold, you will begin to understand a truth that every anointed vessel eventually encounters. Elevation is not just about what you step into, it is also about what you must outgrow. There comes a point where your spirit begins stretching beyond the limitations of your old life, and you can feel it even if you cannot fully explain it. Your thoughts become different. Your desires shift. Your conversations no longer carry the same weight. And even the things that once entertained you now feel empty. This is not boredom. It is spiritual expansion. It is the evidence that heaven is enlarging your capacity for what is coming. I have walked through this exact transition seasons where I felt caught between two versions of myself. The version shaped by old habits, old wounds, old environments, and the emerging version that God was quietly awakening within me. I often felt the tension of wanting to stay familiar while being pulled toward something I could not yet see. Looking back, I realized that was the sign that God was calling me higher. And chosen one, He is calling you higher as well. Anointed one, when God is preparing you for divine wealth, for supernatural influence, for a destiny that impacts more than just your own life, He begins by changing the way you see yourself. Because you cannot walk in a wealthy place with a wandering identity. You cannot carry a mantle with a mindset of survival. You cannot build legacy with the thinking of someone who's still fighting to escape yesterday. This is why inner transformation always precedes outer elevation. Before God expands your territory, He expands your thinking. Before He places resources in your hands, He establishes discipline in your heart. Before He gives you a platform, He purifies your posture. I remember reaching a point in my own journey where I realized I was praying for blessings I didn't yet have the internal structure to sustain. I was asking for increase while still wrestling with inconsistency. I was asking for influence while still battling people-pleasing. I was asking for abundance while still reacting out of fear. God, in His mercy, did not withhold the blessing, He simply delayed it until I could carry it. And the same mercy is working in your life. If you've ever felt frustrated by waiting, if you've ever wondered why things seemed slow, if you've ever questioned why opportunities didn't move when you were ready, know this heaven was strengthening you, not punishing you. God was securing your foundation so your future would not collapse. Chosen one. You may not see the full transformation yet, but you can feel it stirring. You can feel the old mindset loosening its grip. You can feel the shift in the way you respond to problems, the way you handle pressure, the way you interpret delay. You are becoming more stable, more grounded, more spiritually mature. And this maturity is the true proof that you are ready for what's ahead. Because divine wealth is not sustained by money, it is sustained by wisdom. And wisdom is being carved into you right now through every quiet decision you are making. You are learning when to speak and when to stay silent. You are learning when to give and when to conserve. You are learning that your peace is priceless and your assignment is sacred. You are learning that not every conflict deserves your energy and not every invitation deserves your presence. These are the early signs of spiritual maturity, and they matter more than you know. Anointed One, as you grow internally, God will also begin refining the way you handle relationships. Some connections will deepen, others will dissolve. Some people will rise with you. Others will distance themselves as your spirit begins to outgrow the version of you they were comfortable with. Do not take this personally. Growth intimidates those who fear change, but it liberates those who hunger for purpose. In my own journey, I had to learn that loyalty is not measured by how long someone has known you, but by how well someone honors who you are becoming. People tied to your past are not always equipped to walk into your future, and God in His wisdom will allow the wrong people to fall away so the right ones can find you. This pruning is purposeful. This separation is sacred. Chosen one, do not cling to what God is cutting away. He is not subtracting, He is refining. He is forming a circle around you that can handle the weight of your calling, the magnitude of your influence, the responsibility of your blessings. And as you walk through this process, you will begin to feel lighter, clearer, more focused than ever before. Your spirit will start to prioritize differently. Your mind will begin to think generationally. Your heart will crave purpose over pleasure, alignment over attention, and depth over popularity. This is the evolution of a chosen vessel. This is how heaven prepares someone for impact. And you are in that preparation right now, being shaped, stretched, strengthened for more than you can currently see. Trust this process. Trust this becoming. Trust the God who is molding you in silence for a future that will speak loudly. Chosen. 1. As this divine unfolding continues, you will begin to see that one of the greatest signs of your spiritual maturity is the shift in how you respond to pressure. There was a time in your life when challenges shook you easily, when disappointment could derail your focus, when conflict could drain your energy, and when delays made you doubt your own calling. But something inside you is changing now, not because the battles disappeared, but because heaven is strengthening the way you carry them. Pressure is no longer breaking you, it is building you. Tension is no longer a threat, it is a teacher. Resistance is no longer a sign of rejection, it is evidence that expansion is occurring. Anointed One. I remember seasons where life felt overwhelming, where the weight of responsibility felt too heavy to hold, and where the enemy whispered that I was falling behind. Yet, in that very pressure, God was training me. He was teaching me how to breathe differently, how to pray differently, how to think differently, how to discern differently. Heaven was shaping endurance inside me long before I realized I would need it to sustain what I had been praying for. And now this same endurance is rising within you. You're not reacting the way you used to. You're not breaking the way you used to. You're not doubting God the way you used to. Even when fear tries to rise, there is a still, steady voice in your spirit that whispers, "Keep going. Something holy is happening." That voice is not your imagination, it is your anointing maturing. Chosen. One pressure reveals potential. It also exposes what no longer belongs. Under pressure, old habits lose their grip. Under pressure, unhealthy patterns fall away. Under pressure, you begin to recognize the difference between what feeds your spirit and what drains it. Pressure is heaven's way of revealing the blueprint of your next season. I've discovered that every major elevation in my life was preceded by a period of intense internal shifting. God allowed me to feel discomfort in places where I had grown too comfortable, so that my spirit would release the old and make space for the new. And that is what is happening in you now. You are being stretched, not because you are breaking, but because you are growing. This stretching is a sign that heaven is enlarging your capacity to lead, to steward wealth, to manage influence, to hear God clearly, and to operate with spiritual authority. Do not resist the stretching. Do not fear the pressure. This part of your journey is sacred. Anointed One. One of the most profound truths I've learned is that divine elevation requires emotional discipline. Financial increase without emotional maturity becomes chaos. Influence without self-control becomes destructive. Opportunities without boundaries become overwhelming. And so God, in His wisdom, begins teaching you how to master your internal world before He multiplies your external one. You may notice yourself becoming less reactive, more reflective, less easily triggered, more spiritually grounded, less willing to argue, more willing to walk away from anything that steals clarity or peace. These shifts are not weakness, they are mastery. They are signs that your spirit is taking the lead. I've experienced times when God told me to stay silent, when my emotions wanted to respond, to stand still, when my pride wanted to fight, to forgive, when my ego wanted justice. And though it felt hard, those decisions protected my destiny. They allowed God to fight battles I would have lost had I tried to fight them in my own strength. Chosen One. This emotional mastery is becoming your strength as well. You are beginning to see that not every attack deserves attention. Not every opinion requires explanation. Not every challenge needs immediate reaction. Some battles are won simply by outgrowing the version of you that would have engaged them. Growth itself becomes your victory. Silence becomes your strategy. Peace becomes your weapon. As you embrace this newfound maturity, heaven begins to reveal deeper layers of your assignment. You will sense a growing desire to steward your blessings with purpose. You will feel drawn to disciplines that strengthen your spirit habits like prayer, fasting, reflection, structure, and intentional solitude. You may even feel compelled to reorganize your finances, restructure your routines, or rebuild areas of your life that once operated in inconsistency. This is not random, it is prophetic. These impulses are heaven preparing your vessel, ensuring that the blessings coming to you will not slip through the cracks of disorganization or the holes of old habits. Anointed One, you are being prepared to handle more than money. You are being prepared to handle movement, kingdom movement, legacy movement, generational movement. And movement requires structure. Wealth is not sustained by excitement, it is sustained by systems. Influence is not sustained by applause, it is sustained by alignment. Calling is not sustained by desire, it is sustained by discipline. God is building all three in you. And as these structures form within your spirit, you will notice yourself walking differently, not with arrogance, but with a quiet, anchored authority. You will speak differently, not to impress, but to impact. You will think differently, not out of fear, but out of discernment. This is the mark of someone heaven has trusted with more. This is the posture of someone stepping into divine increase. This is the maturity of someone rising without noise. And chosen one. This maturity is setting the stage for everything that comes next. Chosen one. As this divine formation deepens within you, heaven will begin unveiling one of the most profound truths about supernatural elevation. Abundance is not maintained by what you gain, but by what you guard. Many people rise quickly only to fall just as fast, not because they lacked opportunity, but because they lacked preservation. Abundance is not fragile, but the mindset required to carry it is. And heaven is teaching you that right now, in the quiet, sacred chambers of your transformation. I remember walking through a season where God began shifting my understanding of protection. Until then, I believed the greatest threats to my destiny came from external forces. Jealous people, spiritual attacks, closed doors, unfair situations. But God showed me that the real threats were subtle, internal, and often disguised as harmless. A lack of boundaries, a scattered mind, a divided heart, a distracted spirit, undisciplined habits. These were the things that could quietly erode the foundation of what heaven intended to build. And chosen one heaven is ensuring that these cracks are sealed in you before the blessing becomes too heavy to hold. Anointed one. The enemy rarely fights your blessing. He fights your focus. He knows he cannot stop what God has ordained, but he can attempt to distract the vessel meant to carry it. A distracted spirit is more dangerous than an empty bank account. A divided heart is more threatening than any outside opposition. A mind without clarity can sabotage opportunities that were designed to elevate you. This is why God has been drawing you into silence, into stillness, into deeper self-awareness. Heaven is strengthening your focus because the future requires precision. You will begin to notice now more than ever that certain things no longer deserve your attention. Drama feels beneath you. Gossip feels draining. Conflict feels pointless. Validation feels unnecessary. And mindless habits feel costly. This is not you becoming distant. This is you becoming spiritually efficient. Heaven is eliminating distractions disguised as entertainment. God is stripping away noise, masquerading as connection. Your spirit is becoming too valuable to waste itself on things that do not feed your purpose. Chosen one, this is a holy realignment. You will begin to feel an increased sensitivity about where your time goes, who has access to you, and what environments surround you. This is heaven protecting your destiny through wisdom. In my own life, there came a moment when God showed me that openness without discernment leads to spiritual leakage. I used to give my time, freely share my ideas carelessly, and let anyone into my inner circle without considering the implications. And though the intentions were pure, the results were damaging. My energy was depleted. My vision became blurred. My spirit felt scattered. Until God taught me a truth, I now speak to you. Access is currency. Whoever has access to you has influence over your peace, your focus, and your direction. And heaven is teaching you now how to steward access with intention. This does not mean shutting everyone out. It means being spiritually aware of what each connection carries. Some people inspire you, some drain you. Some sharpen your calling, some dull it. Some align with your future, some pull you into your past. And as God elevates you, He will reveal these differences so clearly that you can no longer ignore them. Anointed one. There is a reason your spirit has been uncomfortable around certain people lately. A reason why your heart feels resistance towards certain environments. A reason why certain conversations feel heavy, even when the words sound harmless. Your spirit recognizes misalignment before your mind does. When God begins to position you for generational blessing, He becomes intentional about every voice around you. Wrong voices create wrong pathways. Wrong energies distort discernment. Wrong counsel delays destiny. And heaven is removing these hindrances before they become hindrances to your blessing. You may feel like you are losing connections, yet you are gaining clarity. You may feel like you are being separated, yet heaven is securing your foundation. You may feel like your circle is shrinking, yet your spirit is expanding. What looks like subtraction is actually multiplication in disguise. God is pruning so your life can produce more fruit, not less. Chosen one. As this refinement continues, you will also begin to notice a shift in how you handle opportunities. In the past, you may have chased every open door out of fear of missing out, but now you will sense yourself becoming more selective. Not every door is divine, not every assignment is required, not every opportunity is yours to carry. This newfound selectivity is not hesitation, it is maturity, it is wisdom. It is heaven teaching you that your destiny is too valuable to waste your strength on things that are good, but not God ordained. Anointed one, in this next stretch of your journey, you will learn that saying no is often more powerful than saying yes. Your no protects your purpose. Your no preserves your peace. Your no creates space for the assignments that truly align with your calling. There will come moments when your spirit will whisper, "This is not for you," even when the opportunity looks impressive. Obey that whisper. It is the Holy Spirit guiding your steps away from distraction and toward destiny. By choosing alignment over activity, you will walk into blessings that cannot be earned, only received. You are being shaped into someone who moves with precision, who builds with purpose, who speaks with authority, who guards what heaven entrusts. And this shift in your spirit is the evidence that greater is near. Chosen one. As this divine formation continues, you will begin to understand something profound about the journey you're walking. Heaven is not only preparing you to receive wealth, but to remain wealthy in spirit, purpose, and alignment long after the blessing arrives. Many rise for a moment, but only the rooted rise for a lifetime. And what God is doing in you now is creating roots, deep, spiritual, unshakable roots that will anchor you when abundance begins to flow in ways you once only imagined. Anointed. One, never forget this truth: the blessing does not build you, the preparation does. Wealth does not make you disciplined, discipline makes you ready for wealth. Influence does not make you wise, wisdom protects your influence. And so heaven is teaching you lessons now that may feel subtle, hidden, or even uncomfortable, but these lessons are foundations your future will stand on. I remember a time in my own journey when God began highlighting the small, often overlooked areas of my life. How I managed my mornings, how I handled frustration, how I spoke to myself in moments of uncertainty, how I stewarded what seemed insignificant. At the time, I didn't understand why these tiny details mattered. But later, when increase came, I realized that the small habits I cultivated in silence became the very habits that sustained me in success. Chosen. One, God is doing the same with you. If you feel drawn into routines that once seemed unnecessary, like journaling, praying at specific times, managing your finances more carefully, cleaning your environment, organizing your schedule, know this: heaven is bringing order to your life, because order creates capacity. Blessings require structure. Favor requires discipline. Abundance requires alignment. Without these, increase becomes overwhelming instead of empowering. But you, chosen one, are being shaped to handle more than increase. You are being shaped to handle overflow. Anointed. 1. You will also begin noticing that God is strengthening the way you handle uncertainty. In the past, uncertainty may have triggered anxiety or fear. But now, as you mature spiritually, uncertainty is transforming into opportunity. You're learning to trust what you cannot yet see. You're learning to rest even when circumstances are shifting. You're learning that uncertainty is not a threat to those who walk with God. It is simply the space where miracles are formed. I've experienced this countless times. Doors would close without explanation. Plans would shift without warning. Timelines I relied on would suddenly dissolve. Yet later, I would see that every uncertainty was actually a divine redirection, a holy recalibration that saved me from paths that were not aligned with my destiny. And I speak this to you now: do not fear the unknown. The unknown is where God does his most detailed work. When you cannot trace the plan, you learn to trust the planner. When you cannot see the path, you learn to listen for the next step. When you cannot predict the outcome, you learn to anchor yourself in the one who already knows the ending. Chosen. 1. As this trust deepens, you will begin to walk differently through challenges. Instead of reacting out of insecurity, you will respond out of identity. Instead of panicking, you will pause. Instead of fighting every battle, you will discern which battles belong to God. This is spiritual maturity. This is the fruit of someone who is no longer walking by sight alone, but by divine alignment. And alignment will carry you further than effort ever could. Anointed one another shift that will emerge in this season is your relationship with time. When God elevates a person, he also elevates their stewardship of time. You will begin to sense the weight of moments. You will feel heaven pulling you away from activities that waste your hours and toward habits that multiply your purpose. Your spirit will start rejecting environments that drain you. Your heart will grow uncomfortable with procrastination. Your mind will begin craving stillness, clarity, and intentionality. This is not pressure, it is preparation. Heaven is stretching your capacity to handle the rhythms of a higher assignment. With greater blessing comes greater responsibility, and heaven is equipping you to manage both. And I say this from experience: when God increases your influence, your schedule must bow to your calling. Not your calling bow to your schedule. There will be days when you feel heaven urging you to rest, even though your to-do list is full. Honor that rest. There will be moments when you feel led to wake up earlier, to pray longer, to reflect deeper. Honor that prompting. Heaven leads you through the rhythm of wisdom, not the rush of anxiety. Chosen one. The version of you emerging now is becoming spiritually stable, mentally clear, emotionally strong, and purposefully disciplined. These qualities are not random, they are prophetic indicators that your future blessings will not be wasted. God does not pour oil on unstable foundations. He strengthens the vessel before he fills it. And anointed one, you are becoming a vessel that can hold abundance without breaking influence, without losing yourself, and elevation without forgetting your source. Heaven is preparing you to walk into a season where your results will speak louder than your words, your discipline will speak louder than your desires, and your alignment will speak louder than your announcements. This transformation is not small. This preparation is not ordinary. This journey is not accidental. It is heaven shaping you for something extraordinary. Chosen one. As this divine refinement deepens, heaven will begin revealing another sacred dimension of your calling. You are not simply being prepared to receive wealth. You are being prepared to move with it, think with it, and war with it. Kingdom wealth is not casual. It is covenantal. It does not enter the life of someone who is unrooted, unaligned, or unfocused. And so God is shaping you into someone who can walk in abundance without being swallowed by it. This shaping is not happening through loud moments of revelation, but through quiet, internal adjustments, your desires, shifting your mindset, maturing your discernment, sharpening. These subtle changes are the fingerprints of heaven on your spirit. They are the signs that elevation is not near, it has already begun. Anointed One. One of the most profound realizations I had during my own journey was understanding that wealth is not measured first in money, but in management. Before heaven increases your resources, heaven increases your responsibility. Before God enlarges your territory, He enlarges your thinking. Before He hands you the blessing, He teaches you how to handle it. That is why, in this season, you may feel like God is putting a spotlight on certain habits, certain attitudes, certain weaknesses, not to shame you, but to prepare you. I remember feeling this same holy pressure, sensing God inviting me to examine my relationship with discipline, with money, with boundaries, with people. It felt uncomfortable at first, like being stretched in places I didn't know needed stretching. But later, I understood that God was not correcting me, He was equipping me. And, chosen one, He is equipping you now. You will begin noticing a powerful shift in how you think about generosity. The world gives from overflow, but the chosen give from revelation. You are learning that generosity is not just an action, it is a weapon. When you give, you break the grip of greed. When you sow, you silence the spirit of lack. When you bless others quietly, you build a spiritual atmosphere where multiplication feels natural. This is why God trains your heart as deeply as He trains your hands, because wealth without generosity becomes self-worship, but wealth with generosity becomes kingdom movement. Chosen one. Your heart is being prepared to steward increase with purity. You will sense heaven nudging you toward anonymous giving, unseen acts of kindness, and deeply intentional stewardship. These are not small instructions, they are spiritual seeds. They are aligning your heart with the heart of the giver himself. And when your heart matches, His provision flows without hindrance. Anointed one, you will also begin recognizing that heaven is preparing your character to withstand the spiritual warfare that accompanies wealth. Many pray for increase without realizing that increase attracts eyes, voices, and spirits that were never present in times of struggle. Some will admire you sincerely. Others will attach themselves out of convenience. Some will celebrate your rise. Others will quietly resent it. This is the reality of elevation. And God, in His infinite wisdom, is teaching you how to handle both honor and hostility without losing your peace. I have lived this reality, seeing people shift. As God increased me, feeling atmospheres change when blessings manifested, discerning the difference between those who loved me and those who loved access to me. It was humbling, sometimes painful, but ultimately necessary. Because elevation requires emotional intelligence, and you, chosen one, are developing this intelligence now. You are learning when to share and when to stay silent. You are learning that not every compliment comes from a clean heart. You are learning that discernment must guard your generosity. And you are learning that wisdom is not just what you say, it's what you withhold. Heaven is teaching you how to walk with wealth without becoming wounded by those who misunderstand it. Another shift emerging in your life now is this: you are losing the desire to justify your calling. The chosen often spend years trying to explain themselves, trying to prove their worth, trying to convince others that God truly is working in their life. But somewhere along this journey, that weight begins to lift. you start realizing that purpose doesn't need permission. Destiny doesn't need validation. And calling doesn't need confirmation from those who were never meant to understand it. You move from explaining to embodying. You move from justifying to simply walking. You move from needing approval to needing alignment. Chosen one. This is spiritual maturity. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are becoming in God, not who people expect you to be. And as this confidence grows, you will begin to walk differently, calmer, clearer, more anchored. You will begin to lead differently, with compassion, with integrity, with authority. You will begin to see differently, recognizing opportunities that others overlook, discerning danger before it appears, identifying blessings disguised as battles. All of this is evidence that you are not being prepared for ordinary wealth, but for kingdom stewardship. You are being shaped into someone who can build, uplift, restore, transform, and influence without losing your soul. And chosen one, let this settle deeply in your spirit. God would not invest this much transformation into someone he did not intend to elevate. Everything he is pruning, everything he is refining, everything he is maturing, it is all proof that something great is approaching. And the you that is emerging now is the you who can carry it with grace. Chosen one. As you arrive at this final stretch of your divine preparation, heaven begins unveiling a truth that only the spiritually mature can grasp. Your life is no longer just about personal breakthrough, it is about divine assignment. Everything you have endured, everything you have survived, everything you have overcome has been shaping you into a vessel capable of carrying something far greater than personal success. The blessing coming to you is not simply meant to elevate your lifestyle, it is meant to elevate your lineage, your surroundings, your impact, and the very atmosphere of the places God will send you. This is why your process has been so intense, so prolonged, so deeply transformative. God has been crafting you into someone who can carry not just wealth, but responsibility, not just influence, but integrity, not just increase, but instruction. Anointed one. There came a point in my own journey when I finally understood that God doesn't give wealth merely to comfort the chosen. He gives wealth to position them to break generational patterns, position them to rebuild broken places, position them to stand as pillars where others once collapsed. Position them to demonstrate what divine stewardship truly looks like. And the weight of this realization was overwhelming at first. I questioned whether I could carry such purpose, whether I had enough wisdom, enough discipline, enough spiritual strength. But God showed me something life-changing, something I now speak over you. He does not choose the equipped, He equips the chosen. Every lesson, every moment of stretching, every season of silence has not been testing you, but training you. Chosen one, let this sink deeply into your spirit. You are being trained for legacy, not temporary prosperity, not brief success. Legacy. Legacy that outlives seasons. Legacy that breaks cycles. Legacy that shifts atmospheres. Legacy that will be felt by people who may never know your name, but will feel the impact of your obedience. You may not realize it yet, but your journey is already rewriting the spiritual inheritance of those who will come after you. Heaven has been watching not just your prayers, but your perseverance, not just your faith, but your faithfulness, not just your hunger for blessing, but your willingness to be shaped by the process. And because of this, God is preparing to trust you with what many desire, but few can truly hold. Anointed one. One of the final signs that you are ready for divine wealth is the transformation of your motives. In the past, you may have wanted success to prove something, to escape something, to validate something. But now, your desire for wealth is becoming purified. You don't want abundance for ego, you want it for purpose. You don't want overflow to impress, you want it to impact. You don't want increase just to receive. You want it to build, sow, lift, restore, and heal. This purification is a sign of readiness. When your motives align with heaven's mission, blessings flow without resistance. Another sign of readiness is emerging in your life. Now you are beginning to crave simplicity. Not minimalism, but spiritual simplicity, a life uncluttered by noise, distractions, and emotional chaos. You are learning that clarity comes from order, strength comes from stillness, and power comes from peace. The chosen do not operate from frenzy, they operate from focus. And heaven is sharpening your focus so you can carry what others would mishandle. Chosen one, you may also notice that your dreams are becoming bolder. Visions you once dismissed as unrealistic now feel achievable. Ideas that felt too big for you now feel like assignments. The limitations that once shaped your thinking no longer fit the expanded version of your spirit. This is not imagination. This is impartation. Heaven is planting blueprints within you. Heaven is stirring strategies within you. Heaven is awakening capacities you didn't know you possessed. And as these new inner stirrings arise, you will begin sensing a holy confidence, quiet, humble, but deeply anchored. This confidence is not arrogance, it is awareness. Awareness that you were created to carry something sacred. Awareness that you are supported by heaven. Awareness that what is coming is not dependent on your perfection, but on your surrender. Anointed One. There is something else you must understand. Your wealth will not simply change your circumstances, it will change your identity. Not your identity in God, but the identity the world will assign to you. People will see you differently. Opportunities will approach you differently. Environments will respond to you differently. And because of this, God has been strengthening your character so you never confuse the blessing with the source. This humility is your armor. This discipline is your shield. This obedience is your compass. And it is because of these qualities forged in silence, that God can now trust you with the elevation approaching your life. Chosen One. You have been walking through fire refinement, pruning, stretching, reordering, and awakening. But now, heaven declares over you, you are ready. Ready to receive, ready to manage, ready to build, ready to impact, ready to carry what once would have crushed you. The mantle that used to feel too heavy now fits your shoulders. The calling that once frightened you now fuels you. The assignment that once overwhelmed you now aligns with the strength God has formed within you. You are stepping into a season where blessing and responsibility walk hand in hand, where wealth and wisdom flow together, where purpose and prosperity are not opposites, but partners. Anointed One, your preparation has not been in vain. Heaven is moving, the shift is real, the blessing is near. And you, yes, you are ready to carry it. Chosen One, as you leave this moment, know that heaven has already begun the quiet transfer into your hands. You are standing in your kairos hour, the exact season God ordained for your rise. Walk forward with reverence, with discipline, with gratitude for what is coming, has already been written with your name on it. Remain faithful, stay aligned, guard the sacred. And as you do, the blessing will find you in silence and overflow in due time. If this word spoke to your spirit, share your amen below and stay connected. Until next time, walk softly, carry purpose, and move as the anointed one you are.